Ayan had always feared the dark, but after shifting into his new house, that fear transformed into something deeper, something that clung to him even during the day, whispering in the back of his mind that nightfall would bring something he wouldn't be able to run from. The house itself looked perfectly normal at first glance. Clean walls, polished flooring, neatly arranged rooms, but there was an unnerving silence inside, a silence that felt too heavy, as though it was listening to him. He tried to distract himself the first few days, unpacking boxes, setting up his workspace, arranging his bookshelves, but every time he entered his bedroom, a strange chill crawled across his skin, especially around the old wooden bed the previous owner had left. The bed looked sturdy, but the deep gap underneath it felt like a mouth, open and waiting. His mother's old warning replayed in his head. Never look under the bed. Some things are not meant to be seen. He had always laughed at that advice, thinking it was just a tactic to keep him from losing toys under the bed. But now, in this house, her words echoed like prophecy. On his first night, at exactly 2:47 a.m., Ayan jolted awake without knowing why. His phone was at 4% battery, and the only light in the room came from his small bedside lamp, which flickered every few seconds as if struggling to stay alive. At first there was stillness, a kind of heavy silence pressing against his eardrums until he heard it. A soft, dragging sound from beneath the bed, like nails scraping across the carpet. He froze, his breath caught in his throat, trying to convince himself it was the wood expanding, or maybe a rodent. But then the sound moved first to the left side of the bed, then the right, then directly beneath his pillow. Far too deliberate to be anything natural. Heart hammering, he whispered shakily, "Who's there?" For a moment, there was complete silence. So silent he could hear his heartbeat pounding like drums in his ears. Then came a giggle. A thin, childlike giggle. Soft, yet unnervingly close. The kind of sound that didn't belong anywhere near his room. The lamp flickered violently, plunging the room into darkness for a split second. And in that moment, he saw them two tiny, glowing eyes staring back at him from under the bed. When the light returned, the eyes vanished as though they'd never existed. Ayan's hands shook uncontrollably as he grabbed his blanket, pulling it tightly around himself, trapped in the sickening knowledge that something was hiding just inches away beneath him. Then came the whisper, "Aya," drawn out, hollow, laced with an ancient dryness. A voice that sounded like it hadn't spoken in decades. The scratching sound intensified, turning sharper, faster, as though something underneath was clawing its way out. Unable to bear it, Ayan slowly leaned forward, his heart nearly exploding as he dared to peek over the edge. That's when it happened. A long, bony hand shot out, its crooked, elongated fingers curling toward his ankle like claws reaching for prey. Ayan screamed and stumbled backward, hitting the floor hard. But fear overpowered the pain as he scrambled to his feet and ran for the door. As he swung it open, a blast of cold air hit him. The kind of cold that felt alive, almost as if someone had been standing right behind the door. When he dared to look back, something was crawling out from beneath the bed slowly, mechanically, its limbs cracking as they bent in impossible angles. Its body was unnaturally long, its joints twisted, and its face, or whatever remained of it, was stretched into a grotesque smile that reached impossibly far, with hollow pits where eyes should have been. It tilted its head with a loud crack and whispered, "Why did you look under the bed?" Ayan ran out of the house that night and didn't return until morning. When he finally mustered the courage to enter his room again, everything looked normal except for the deep, fresh scratches carved violently into the floor beneath the bed. Determined to end this nightmare, he pushed the bed aside, only to discover a dark hole carved straight into the floorboards. A hole that shouldn't have been physically possible. Inside the hole, written jaggedly in childlike handwriting, were the words, "Hi, Ayan," etched as though carved with long fingers. Horrified, he moved to a different room, setting up a new bed, new sheets, new everything, hoping distance from that cursed place would keep him safe. But on the second night, at exactly 3 a.m., the new bed shook violently with a single thump from underneath. Ayan's breath caught as a whisper floated up. "I followed you. Tears filled his eyes as he begged softly, "Please, leave me alone." But silence followed. A silence so thick it felt suffocating. Desperate to reassure himself, he leaned forward just a bit, wanting only to confirm that nothing was under this bed, but the moment he looked, two massive hands shot out, gripping his ankles with terrifying strength. He screamed, grabbing the bed frame as the creature pulled him downward with unnatural force. His fingernails scraped desperately against the wood as he cried for help, but the whisper from the darkness below only grew louder, more eager. "Come down! I've been waiting for you!" His grip failed, and he was dragged beneath the bed into a darkness that felt alive, swallowing him whole. Then the room fell silent, as though nothing had ever happened. Only Ayan's phone remained on the phone. Floor, half under the bed, still recording. The last sound on the audio was a chilling whisper, spoken right next to the phone. "I'm not under the bed anymore." And from that night on, no one ever slept in that house again, because late at night, if someone stood quietly in Ayan's old room, they swore they could hear scratching beneath the floorboards, as though something was trying to find a new place to crawl into.